It's like we're back in the studio. Los Angeles, 1997.
That's a good analogy.
Brett Gurewitz behind the controls. This is Brett.
I don't need to tell the truth, but I never lie. I don't need to bow to you. You're just passing by. I never wanted to be the one you bitch and moan and come home to. But as long as you look good, I'll come back to you. Get inside my troubled mind with all of your threats. Sometimes I think I was blind. Not before we met. I never wanted to be the one that you depend on for your life. When you cry, it smells like soup. Sound like Shona Knife. Never feel how I said all night. I gotta ride. Each time I stayed all night. No, I just might. You make me stay all night. It's just that side of you tonight that makes me stay all night. I'm gonna stay all night. You're an evil little girl. I'm a twisted man, tearing through your perfect world. Make you understand. I never wanted to be the one you bitch and moan and come home to. But as long as you look good, I'll come back to you and do the things you do. Stay all night. I gotta ride. Each time I stay all night. No, I just might. You make me stay all night. It's just that side of you tonight that makes me stay all night. I'm gonna stay all. I would never treat you bad. You deserve the best from me. If you want to keep your place, you better get down on yours.
Yeah, Todd wrote this one.
Yeah. You think?
This is not mine.
I gotta ride. Each time I stay all night. No, I just might. You make me stay all night. It's just that side of you tonight that makes me stay all night. I'm gonna stay all night.
R.I.P. Todd.
Text the round robin your questions, comments, wagers. Give us a reason. Sleeper fantasy play, your best alternative line, whatever you have. Text the round robin 757-354-5517.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, take us past our spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
This is the Deep End Broadcasting Network.
You are tuned in to
At Cox
Round
Mobile,
Robin
we know
with
you need
Stephen Murray on Deep End.
Still singing Bible night before I pray.
Hail to the Redskins, hail victory. Praise on the warpath, fight for all we see. Run or pass and score, we want a lot more. Beat 'em, swamp 'em, touch them, let the point soar. Fight on, till you have won, sons of Washington. Rock, rock, rock! Hail to the Redskins! Hail victory! Praise on the warpath! Fight for all ye see!
How about the Washington Commanders, formerly known as the Washington Redskins, going into Detroit and knocking out the number 1 seed?
One more pass and score, we want a lot more. Beat 'em, swamp 'em, touchdown, let the point soar. Fight on, till you have won, sons of Washington. Rock, rock, rock! Hail to the Redskins! Hail victory! Praise on the warpath! Fight for all ye see!
45-31. Good morning. This is the Round Robin. I am Stephen Murray, your host. We are back live for our Sunday edition of the Divisional Playoff Round. And what a Saturday in the NFL, man. Did that live up to expectation or not? We had a good first game with the Chiefs and the Texans. The Chiefs get by. Hopefully you didn't lay 9.5 and have an intentional safety ruin your day at the end of that game. And then after that, a straight drubbing to the number 1 seed, Detroit Lions. The Commanders come on out on top, 45-31. Spectacular. That was insane. For those of you not in the region, and we are this is the Round Robin, broadcasting live from our deep in studios in the lovely Virginia Beach, Virginia, the United States of America. The Round Robin is your every Sunday and Saturday while we have playoff games. NFL wagering show that breaks down every angle, every way, and hopes to coming out with some good winners for us. Hopefully gets you in a good line of thinking of how to turn $10 into 2,000, 5,000, whatever the case may be, and get a good jackpot for yourself, whether you're making plays on your own or tailing along with us. This show is to make you successful and profitable. And, we do it again yesterday. We'll get to that in a minute. We'll talk about the winning tickets as we had a fantastic Saturday overall here in the studio. But let me just say this. As someone who is friends with a lot of Washington fans, and I am not one. Nephew Dave, of course, is on the show. But we have plenty of friends who are. There's no shortage of Washington faithful here. My former boss, Brad Hughes, up in heaven. Rest in peace, sir. You must love what you saw yesterday. But regionally, growing up, before the satellite dishes, before YouTube, before all of that stuff, we had what you called the old TV set, in which you had to go up and kind of flip the channels from channel 3 to channel 10 to channel 13. And forever and a day on CBS in the 80s, when they did the NFC, before they took over the rights to the AFC and the NFC moved over to Fox, that was your game. You got the Washington game. You got the NFC East games, but first and foremost, you got all the Washington games. And, thus spun out of that is a lot of Cowboy faithful locally as well. So a lot of Cowboy fans in this region as well. But growing up, you were a Redskin fan. And if you liked the team, if you didn't, you didn't. You either gotta love them or hated them. Me growing up down here in Virginia Beach, I was fortunate enough to be around my grandfather, who was diehard Boston. I mean, our whole mom's side is from Boston, Massachusetts. His first steps in Fenway Park were in 1922. He lived long enough to watch the Red Sox come back and beat the Yankees when they were down 3-0. And then went out ahead to beat the Cardinals in the World Series. He died a very peaceful man after that, as he saw the Red Sox break that long curse. He was able to see Brady win a Super Bowl as well. So the influence for me out of the gates was to root for the Boston teams. And we were fortunate enough when the same thing, growing up and flipping the channel, when CBS covered the NFC and covered the Commanders or Redskins back then. The NBC had the rights to the AFC at that time. And we would get all the AFC East games. So I was able to watch a decent amount of actual Patriot games. We got, of course, Jets, Bills, Dolphins, so Colts as well, when they were in that division. So I was able to kind of grow up around my team still, without a lot of Patriot faithful down here. Now, those times have changed. A lot of people jumped onto that bandwagon with the Brady years. But forever and a day, pre-YouTube, pre-cable, whatever the case may be, when you just had your one local game, it was the Redskins and the Commanders. Now, this team went ahead and won 3 Super Bowls. They're very successful. Joe Gibbs did fantastic. He was at the game last night as well, Joe Gibbs. He did fantastic for that franchise. Jack Kent Cook was a hero owner to the fan base. And then the team gets sold to Daniel Snyder. Well, you figure that, rich man Daniel Snyder is going to, buy another Super Bowl, spend all the money, make the team better. And he did. He tried to at least. He bring in Bruce Smith at one time. What he seemed to do is bring in seasoned veterans who are kind of past their prime a little bit. So it never really completely worked out when he bring in the superstar names. Competitive, yes. Some playoff years, yes. But then, just things started happening within the franchise. Of course, in the woke era, the early woke era of this democracy in the United States, shunned the name the Redskins. He didn't want to change the name. A lot of people still wanted to change the name back, but that started controversy. And then you get allegations of sexual misconduct in the front offices, almost like the team just doesn't care anymore. And the owner, Snyder, turned into a complete villain. And for me, as a fan going to these games with my friends, you could slowly start to see that their fan base was jumping off the ship. I mean, I had diehard Redskin fans who refused to go to the game, didn't even want to watch them anymore because they were that upset and distraught over ownership. So the day finally comes where Snyder has to sell the team, and he sells it, he gets rid of it, and they start from scratch. They rebranded the name a couple of times, and basically just, like I said, start from square one, kind of almost like you're an expansion team type of dealio. Well, you know what? Things can happen if you hang in there, and to get Mr. Jaden Daniels to fall to the number 2 pick to you, and then you go ahead and have the wherewithal to actually draft him. There you go. A young rookie quarterback who is fearless. He is amongst the best in the league. Kind of talked about it a couple weeks ago with Dave Del Grande. Should this guy be considered an NFL MVP? Well, if it's a full season award, you would have to say yes at this point. We kind of laughed at it a few weeks ago. He's the 5th or 6th choice to be most valuable player. But look what he's done for this franchise. And when I talk about the fan base jumping off ship, and I mean, I was there for a Patriots game, and it was on my birthday, and we're in the parking lot. This is an away game at FedEx Field, and the parking lot is just a sea of blue Patriots. You are hard pressed to find, 1 out of 20 people being a Washington fan that day. It was nothing but blue. The Patriots took over the stadium. It was almost like an embarrassment at the time. This is just 5 or 6 years ago. It's not like this is super long ago. 6 years ago, maybe. So to see them go from that, an all-time low, to what happened here yesterday, where they beat the number 1 seed, and this is a franchise who's completely got themselves off the mat. Kind of left for doom and gloom. What else is there to say? It's just a good, successful comeback story that really has taken decades under that former owner Daniel Snyder to recover from and to get where they are now, which is in an NFC championship game, 33 years since their last one. So you got to give the Commanders, their ownership, their players, you got to give them an applause. And well earned beating the number 1 seed, the Detroit Lions, yesterday. Can we get an Eagles Commanders take 3? A fantastic regular season game. The last time that they played, Saquon Barkley rushed for 1 million yards, and Daniels had to win it late. Was it a pass to Zacchaeus? Maybe it was Crowder at the time. I think it was Zacchaeus. I'll have to ask nephew Dave. He'll remember exactly. But the Commanders didn't need to win in such last-second fashion. Very, very clutch, this team. They are fazed by nothing. Yeah, they're never out of it. And, man, did they put their foot down on that banged-up Detroit defense last night. And they did. They outscored them 45-31. Now, Detroit had a ton of success running the ball. And my game plan for Detroit was to run the ball and don't give Jaden Daniels a chance. Well, they got off of that. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs almost ran for 150 yards. He probably could have ran for 250 yards. They would have been best suited to try to run the ball some more. But you need to take your hat off to this Washington team. Nephew Dave's going to be flying high when he gets into the studio this morning. All right, so good job by them. A good job by the Chiefs. The referees, can they give these guys any more calls again? I mean, I was jokingly put on my little Facebook status yesterday that the over-under for calls that will benefit the Chiefs is 2.5. And I think it went over. I think there were a few questionable calls there for sure, in which we got roughing the passer penalties or roughing Mahomes. 2 Texans players basically headbutted each other, and they threw a flag. They didn't even touch Mahomes. Another play where he didn't even get contact. It looks like the defensive player kind of lets up. Mahomes takes a dive. I mean, it was literally a dive. It was a bad NBA flop. There you go, 15-yard penalty. And the Chiefs, again, benefiting from flags, and that's enough to get by a stingy Houston defense. They actually put out a good effort. If they had any kind of offensive line, the Texans could have hung in there till the end. But the Chiefs, the better team on that day, and it's going to take a lot to beat them in Arrowhead, especially when the black and white stripes are throwing the flags for them. That job will be up to Buffalo or the Ravens, and we'll get to that game plenty as we go through the program today. So this is the Round Robin. I am Stephen Murray. If you are new to the show, I am a NFL wagerer since 1990, so that's about 35 years now. I've been on the bookmaking management side of things for the better part of that. So about 28 years with that. So 63 combined years of NFL wagering and bookmaking. And then I've also been in the media just as long as I have been an NFL wagerer. So add that all together, and we have nearly 100 years combined of experience of media, sports wagering, sports bookmaking. And yes, that qualifies me to run this program, the Round Robin, here on Sunday morning, broadcasting live from our Chicks Beach studios. Okay, so here's what we do. We do not bet straight up $100 to win $100. We are putting down $5, $10, maybe $20 in efforts to win a big amount of money. There you go. Flash a winning ticket up for you that we had last weekend in the playoff round. Now, this is a $100 bet. This is not something that we typically do, but this is a free play. All right, this is a no sweat token. So we max it out. We take our shot. We use every penny they're going to give us. And there's a 58-1 $100 winner on your screen for you. That shows you we know how to do things around here. Simple. 3 players to get 25 yards receiving. That's like running across your backyard. Curtis Samuel, Troy Franklin, and Ty Johnson. That's a winning ticket from last weekend. How about yesterday? C.J. Stroud. We talked about it on the show. 40 yards rushing at over 10-1. Bam. Knocked it home. Knocked it out of the park with that. C.J. Stroud has been one of the better plays for him rushing for 40 yards since early December. And I'm happy to say I've been on it just about every time. And we combo that parlay with Brian Robinson Jr., rushing yards, who was about 10-1 himself for 70 yards rushing, which was kind of shocking to me. So, it's a game that's supposed to be thrown through the air. But he found no resistance on the ground and got to those 70 yards late. So the combination for me of Brian Robinson and C.J. Stroud gives me a nice, not a super big payday, but a good 3-digit winner, I would say, for a Saturday. And I have those two still tied into a round robin this afternoon. So if we get one of two of these things to happen, we'll get $500. And if we can get both of these things to happen, we'll get $6,000 combined, I think. So the two things we will be rooting for, combined with the C.J. Stroud 40 yards rushing and the 70 yards rushing by Brian Robinson Jr., the first thing we will look for is a measly 25 yards by Jahan Dotson, the third wide receiver for the Philadelphia Eagles, who came alive last week. So, Mr. Dotson, why don't you give me those 25 yards out of the gate? Let's check the box for you, and we'll count that $500 in our pocket. And then if we get to the night game, we are hoping we just need the one last play to hit the jackpot, and that would be our man Keon Coleman, 70 yards receiving for the Bills. All right, so Coleman for 70 yards receiving, Dotson 25 yards receiving. That will make for a huge payday for me. It's not like I even need to play any more tickets, but we will. We'll get a few tickets together, and we'll post them on the screen for you once I get Dave Del Grande going here in a few minutes. So, yes, that is the gist of the show. Let's invest the minimum, make the maximum. If we bet $10 to win $5,000 or so, and we hit that bet, which we have done plenty of times, well, 10 goes in the 5,000, 500 times, people. So that means you have 500 times to lose before you are in the negative. Well, it doesn't take us maybe 20 times until we win our next ticket. The way things have gone around here this season, 20, 25 times before we win our next ticket, 50 times, who knows? But whatever it is, we don't wait 500 times before we win our next ticket. We're winning well within that time frame and having a fantastic season. 2-0 on the playoffs so far. Nephew Dave with a big winner yesterday. He strikes it hot with a nice payout for him. He had Jameson Williams touchdown. He had Terry McLaurin on a touchdown.
He had Khalif Raymond, of all people, needing 25 yards. That was the one that boosted it up for him. And then he had, I believe he had Jaden Daniels rushing yards, and he had someone else, Eckler, on his receiving yards, I believe is what it was as well. And everyone feasted yesterday. A game with 76 points. You're going to get the better end of things if you're playing a lot of your props over. Okay, so exciting stuff with all that. What we'll do is we'll look at the lines, we'll look at the weather, and then what we'll do is we'll pipe in our man Dave Del Grande. There'll be take two of our conversation with him. Now, I must admit, snow was the last thing on my mind when we discussed these games on Friday. I need to be better at that. Snow is in the forecast for this Eagle game. So when we get to Del Grande, keep in mind I may be flip-flopping a little bit on some of the things that we're saying. In fact, as much as I would love to see Jalen Hurts score 2 touchdowns today at some point, or my man Demarcus Robinson score and maybe even score twice, because he's going to be a legit target who's going to probably find some paths to being open because of the tight coverage to Puka and Cooper Kupp. Stafford's got to throw it somewhere. So DeMarcus Robinson becomes a very viable choice today. 95-1 for 2 touchdowns for Mr. DeMarcus Robinson today. A player who we've hit on the 2 touchdowns twice this season on already, and for big amounts. So we will actually play him today. But, if we get 5, 6, 7 inches of snow and we don't get 20 points on the board, I'm fine with that. I have an alternate under in the Chiefs game, which I get there by half a point. I've had under 37.5, and that was fine with the conclusion of that 23-14 game. Even after that intentional safety, I didn't get screwed by that. And then, I took a super alternate under 20-1 odds at under 20 points or 20.5 points in this game. If it is a crazy snow game, it literally is bound to be 13-6, something like that. If we get blizzarded in at the link this afternoon, it's only a $6 bet, but it pays $1,000 if we have a super low scoring game there. And then a slightly underplay on the Ravens and the Bills. I think I took it down to like 48.5 or something like that. And that could happen. The 2 heavyweights feeling each other out. They probably should score a ton of points themselves. But you know how it goes. You go for it on 4th and short and don't get there, and a turnover in the red zone. And next thing you know, you're looking at an under type of game. All right. So plenty to talk about this morning. We'll go ahead and queue up our man, Dave Del Grande. We'll get to him first. We'll come back and get nephew Dave in here and the Ant-Man, and we will go through everything on the schedule today. So Dave Del Grande queued up. Let's look at the lines real quick. And we do have line movement this morning. In fact, the ticker says 43.5 for the Rams-Eagles game. That actually dropped to 41.5 at some point yesterday, and now it's back up to 42.5. So I'll correct that in a second on the ticker once I get Dave Del Grande going. But 6.5 is the line for the Eagles. 42.5 is the official over-under, what I'm seeing at the moment. And the Ravens continue to be favorites at Buffalo, although it looks like slight money starting to come on Buffalo with the juice kind of going their way at minus 115 now. The Ravens are minus 1.5, and Bills plus 1.5, and 51.5 is the total in that game. That is the heavyweight matchup, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. The first game for the NFC to settle things first. To see who will host the Commanders next week, 3 o'clock Eastern from the link, a snowy link in Philadelphia with the Eagles and the Rams. In fact, snow could be an issue with Buffalo as well. So more on the weather, more on all those games with nephew Dave, with the Ant-Man, myself, and we'll go ahead and queue those up. We'll queue up my man Dave Del Grande, and we will discuss these games with him right now. So without further ado, our guy who is a columnist with Field Level Media, a senior analyst at Stat Factor. He is the founder of MrFantasy.com himself, contributes to Deadspin, writes articles for them, and a longtime Bay Area native in San Francisco, covers the Golden State Warriors, but an expert on wagering in the NFL. Let's bring in our guy, Dave Del Grande. Okay, 2 football games for this Sunday afternoon. Let's get a hold of those. Let's see what we can come up with. The first one, 3 o'clock Eastern. Now we're into that window of games that doesn't start at 1 o'clock Eastern. You guys can get some extra shut-eye in the morning there, Dave Del Grande. Do a few morning errands, run to the Home Depot, whatever you need to do before your kickoff is at noon Pacific time. The Eagles, 6.5 and 43.5 is the total here. Now, if I think back to the games last week, I feel like both of these teams' opponents were worse than what they probably could have been. Maybe, obviously, they didn't put out their A efforts, but their efforts were so bad, talking about Minnesota and Green Bay, that it almost made these teams maybe look better in a sense. The Rams dominated the Vikings. We're getting 9 sacks on Darnold, so their defense propels them. They don't need to go super crazy on offense to win that game at the end of the day. And the Eagles, all they had to do was basically just run the ball against Green Bay. We didn't need a big game out of Hurts, and they were able to skate by through the Packers that way. Now, when I look at these two teams, I still have question marks about Hurts at the end of the day. Is it because he just doesn't do a lot in terms of the passing game, and it's just so reliant on Barkley? I'm just kind of waiting for that to backfire on them at some point. And maybe it won't. Maybe that it won't backfire. I do like the pedigree of the quarterback and the coach of the Rams being experienced in these situations. So that alone, I think, gives them a shot. Now, they'll play games like the Arizona game I mentioned last week, where they ended the season and they win 13-9, and it's just not super impressive. And you kind of ask yourself, how is this team even a legit contender to be a playoff team? Well, I get it. This atmosphere is going to be tough in Philadelphia, but I just feel like the Eagles are still one-dimensional. I feel like even with good coverage on the skill positions of the Rams and Nakua and Kupp, there's still supplementary weapons Darnold can go to move the ball. You got to think that at some point, the Eagles, if they're going to advance all the way and win a Super Bowl, they got to still open it up in the passing game here. And I just haven't seen it yet, or I don't trust it necessarily. So for all of that, I'm going to give the Rams a chance here, considering the experience with the coach and the quarterback. And Hurts has his experience as well. I think if you're going to give me the choice between Sirianni and the Rams coach, I'm going to take the Rams coach at the end of the day, Sean McVay, myself. So I think for those reasons alone, this is actually a closer game. You might think Philadelphia is the more dominant team, and they've won a tremendous amount of games in a row now. What is it? Well, they lost to the Commanders towards the end of the season. But what have they done? 13 out of 14, something like that. So they're as hot as any team in the league. Man, they scare me with being just so one-dimensional with Barkley. I feel like that's going to come back and bite them at some point. You almost feel like the Rams are playing on house money now. Maybe they have a little bit of God is on their side with the wildfire factor as well. Kind of playing not only for them, but for an area of a country which has been devastated at this point. And maybe they kind of ride those coattails in that momentum a little bit. I'm going to give the Rams a better than puncher's chance to win this game. I think if Philadelphia is going to win this game, they got to put up at least 24 points. Because I think the Rams are going to somehow finagle 21 to 24 points anyway, maybe a little bit more. Give me a final score here of something like the Rams 26, Eagles 23. And I think they'll pull out the upset. This game will go over the total. I don't know. Tell me where I'm wrong.
Well, for a change, I don't necessarily agree with anything you just said.
Okay.
I just think these are two really good defensive teams.
Right.
The Eagles are elite defensive teams.
Yes.
And they have far more weapons than the Rams have. And you're right. The Eagles run the ball a lot. Why? Because they can. When someone finally stops Barkley is when Hurts is going to fake it to him and run it around the end. We haven't seen Hurts run the ball all that much. Because he hasn't had to.
3 yards needed from him last week for a big ticket. But go ahead.
As teams sell out, stop Barkley, then in big games here, and we reach that time of year where it's time. Let's not hide anything anymore. Let's. If we need to put our quarterback at risk running the ball, we're going to do that. And I think Philadelphia has kept Hurts, generally healthy by limiting the number of times he's carried the ball because nobody's been able to stop Barkley. I think now you're going to see Hurts running the ball more because teams are going to have to do more to stop Barkley. And as they do that, they've got as good a tandem of wide receivers as anybody in the league. So they can play action and throw the ball on you to those wideouts. We saw last week with Goddard, who had a really good game last week. They have a weapon at tight end as well. I think that Philly's the better defensive team, and I think Philly's the better offensive team in this game. The Rams, they don't have any downfield weapons, and they don't even use Cup anymore. I mean, they throw the ball into Nakua a lot, and obviously he's a very good receiver. But I think they're offensively they're limited. Obviously, their quarterback's not going to run the ball at all. And Philly's elite defense. So I think I don't see where the points come from for the Rams this week. I would not be surprised if they're held to 17 or fewer, maybe even 14 or fewer. I don't think Philly's going to go crazy in this game either, but I can see Philly winning this game 24-12 or 27-14, maybe, on the very high end. I can't imagine either team getting into the 30s in this game, and I can't imagine both teams getting into the 20s in this game. It just doesn't seem to be. I mean, these defenses are just too good. If this game if the weather ended up being a factor, this game ended up being 9-7. I wouldn't be shocked because of how good these defenses are. But I think the weather would have to play a big role in that. But I think Philly's. They've been great on defense all year, and on offense they're fully healthy. They're running on all cylinders, and I think they're capable of a lot more just because they haven't had to open it up because Barkley runs for 150 yards every game. So good luck stopping him, and if you do, it just opens something else. So I think in a relatively low-scoring game, I think Philly's going to win this game.
Okay. Anything prop-wise then you would focus on?
Well, the one thing that, the one number to me that stands out among all the defensive numbers in this game is the Rams have done very poorly defending tight ends. I was really impressed with Goddard last week. Made a couple of key catches.
He's been nice.
And then he got into the beast mode. A Kittles type. Let's drag the defender 10 more yards. I think that with so many other weapons around, with the the play action game with Barkley sucking in the linebackers. I think Goddard, can find some openings in that defense, catch, 3 or 4 balls at 10 yards a pop. I'm hoping or guessing that his receiving numbers, are in the 30 range.
Yeah, 37.5.
Yeah.
Achievable.
So that, yes. And so that would be, I think that to me, that would be the only thing that I would take in this game. I think Hurts is going to find a way to score a touchdown. Like I said, I think you're going to see, first off, if they get the ball on the 1 yard line, he's going to score a touchdown. But I also think that you're going to see the Rams have to sell out to stop Barkley, and that's going to open up some more rushing opportunities for Hurts. So my secondary play in this game would be, I think Hurts is going to score a touchdown. I think he actually has a chance to score 2 touchdowns. If we're looking at a greedy ticket, I'd put Hurts on there for 2 touchdowns. But Goddard would be my number 1 play.
All right, so we'll put Hurts on with the Worthy and Jaden Daniels 2 touchdowns ticket, and then we'll add.
And what's Hurts 2 TDs?
Oh, Hurts for 2 touchdowns is 6-1.
Okay.
Which actually for him is usually he's a little bit lower than that. I think he was plus 500 last week.
But as I said, they haven't overused him, and so much of his touchdowns are luck. I mean, luck in the sense that Barkley got tackled at the 1 yard line,
right,
or
right.
A.J. Brown got knocked out of bounds at the 1, and that gives you a free touchdown. I would say more than half of his touchdowns, probably closer to 3/4 of his touchdowns, are quarterback sneaks, and you only get those if your teammate got tackled at the 1 yard line. And so it's a nice weapon to have, but it's also something you can't really count on, because if the ball's at the 2 yard line, then it goes to the other guy. So, so it's circumstances, are going to play a factor in this. But I do think that there's more possibility this week that Hurts is going to run more. And if that happens down by the goal line, taking the ball, running around the end, if he can get one of those touchdowns and one of the cheap ones, then you cash a nice ticket.
All right, 6-1 for him for 2. Let's see. For 1 touchdown, he is minus 115. So that's fair. Last week, now, I bet it on the live line because Jordan Love was paying such a big number for a anytime touchdown. And they got all the way down to that play with Jacobs where he was about a half a yard shy. And I think they even got an offside penalty after that. Moved the ball up a little bit. They're literally at the 1/4 yard line. And I'm like, if Jordan Love can't score now, he never will. And, of course, he turns around and hands it off to Jacobs. Okay. And let's see here. Anything else that I see pop up? Now, I'll say this on the Rams side of things, because I think Kupp and Nakua will soak up the coverage. I got to go back to my man, DeMarcus Robinson, at 5-1. If the Rams are going to get a touchdown, he's as likely as a candidate as anybody. He's a big target. He's going to be that 3rd or 4th option for the Rams down the board, and that's going to be the open option. So on a greedy ticket somewhere, I got to play him still. And this is a dead under game for you. Okay, so on the primary ticket, we'll throw Goddard onto the Saturday stuff. Actually, we'll start our own ticket for this Sunday. Everything else on the Saturday ticket paid 9-1. Your 4 plays, so we'll be good with that. And then we'll throw Goddard onto a ticket by himself, just for the sake of the show having 2 different episodes for the weekend. All right, enough here. All right, interesting to see where you're going to fall on this train. I like the Bills at home here. I know the Ravens are somehow the favorite, -1.5 on the road against the team with the better record. It's 51.5. I get it. The Ravens blew out the Bills last time that they played. This was in Baltimore on Sunday Night Football. A ton of injuries to the Bills on defense for that game. They do have those players back. And I get it. This game could get out of hand and the Ravens could win it. But if all things are equal here and we're going to compare Josh Allen to the running game with Lamar, I'm going to give that a push. And if I'm going to compare the passing game, where Lamar's been much, much better, he just hasn't proven in these spots that he's going to be able to seal the deal. And I feel like Josh Allen feels like he's destined to play the Chiefs again. So I will take the Bills and Josh Allen at home against the Ravens here. I think the Flowers injury you mentioned last week plays a little bit of a difference here for the Ravens offensive attack. In their last few games where the Ravens have been good on offense, they haven't been super great. And I think the Bills have the weapons here. They got plenty of them. They're fully healthy. I just feel like at home they're going to be the better team here. If they win by 10 points, I don't even think that's going to shock me. But I think the Bills can contain Henry as much, make Lamar try to beat him through the air, and I'm not so sure that's going to happen. I'll take the Bills here. I think this is a game that does fly over the total as well. This could be the classic punch, counter punch, feel the other team out, so it does play to the under. I get it, but I think both of these teams have enough offense here where they can almost get over the total by accident. I'll take the Bills in a higher scoring game for me. So what do you got?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a great game. I think these are, two of the top 5 teams. I think the other 3 games this weekend, I think one team stands out above the rest in those games. I think that in this game, you've got 2 heavyweights going back and forth, and 2 teams that haven't necessarily played well defensively this year, which leads to, as you said, expecting a higher scoring game. And the Flowers injury, I think, is a factor. I think Baltimore will be only as successful as they are running the ball, and which, Buffalo has not been great at stopping the run this year. I think Buffalo will only be as successful as they are passing the ball. And Baltimore has not been great at stopping the pass this year. So I think both teams have a path to offensive success in this game. I think Buffalo is the better team all the way around. But having watched Henry time and time again, it seemed like I was going against him in fantasy every week. And it's just, oh my God, stop the guy. And you do it for a couple of quarters, and then the game winds on, and he's running faster in the fourth quarter than you were in the first quarter. He's just a scary sight for me. And then you mix him in there with Jackson's ability to fake it and take it around the end himself. And you wonder how much is Baltimore even going to have to throw the ball to be successful in this game. Tight game either way. I'll give Buffalo a slight edge. And in a game where I think there's going to be a lot of scoring, I don't know. It's hard. I don't really see that one guy who I would say this is going to be the guy who scores the touchdowns. I mean, the obvious choices obviously are Henry and the Buffalo quarterback.
Yeah, Allen.
But you're going to end up paying a price there. I think looking at the season stats, there is a stat in this game that stands out that might be good for a surprise element in this game, and that is that these teams rank worst and fourth worst in the league in allowing receiving to running backs. And now, these aren't necessarily two great pass the ball to your back kind of teams, which might, in a sense, be good because that'll keep the numbers down. I think that Johnson for Buffalo, has come on late in the season and been a surprise element. I think he could catch 2 or 3 passes in this game and get over, hopefully, what is a very meager number. And then on the Baltimore side, well, it's not going to be Henry who catches the passes. But, they do have a pass catching back. And again, I think the number, should be very, very low on both of those guys. I think you play them both, and one or the other is going to hit, and very good chance that they both hit.
Well, you're talking about Ty Johnson, who was a winning receiver for me last week. Oh man, that's the best 2-yard screen pass when they didn't need to throw the ball at all ever last week for me for a big payout. Interestingly enough, everybody is waiting for the Ty Johnson receiving number to pop off, and it's off the board. He's the only guy off the board. And I think that's because of Ray Davis's status. I think they're going to wait to see what happens with Davis to see if he's going to be active or not. And then they're going to post a Ty Johnson number. So we're going to have to wait there, unfortunately. Otherwise, I'd be all over it right now. Justice Hill's the other guy you're talking about.
Right.
He's 22.5 for his receiving number at the moment. Now, I saw Derrick Henry 5.5, but that actually has fallen off the board as well. So we'll see when that pops back on.
Well, the thing about Johnson is, in some ways, it's better for him if Davis plays because he's still going to be a guy who Johnson's
they're going to give him the ball
play
a lot.
On first and second down, and so they'll play him on third down. He'll be cut. The way they spread the ball around, he's not going to get a lot of balls. But all it takes for a low number, and I'm expecting his number is going to be below 25, maybe even in the teens somewhere. So it could be 1 catch or 2 catches get you over the number. And even if Davis is playing, he's still going to be a third down, pass catching back. We've seen him have some, make some really nice plays for them in recent weeks in big games and tight situations. So, if Davis plays, then all of a sudden they think, well, gee, let's lower Johnson's number down to 15.5 because he won't play as much. That just makes it a better play in my mind. And he'll say, I say the same thing is that, without Flowers, without great outside receiving options, they've been throwing the ball a lot more to Andrews lately. They threw the ball to the other tight end last week more than they had. I think they're looking to throw the ball shorter and to guys like Hill and like I said, these aren't real attractive names necessarily, but if you just plug in, Baltimore was the worst in the league at defending running backs against the pass. Worst in the league. And Buffalo was 4th worst in the league. On average, they're allowing, I don't know the numbers, but certainly more than these, 22.5 yards that you see on Hill's total and 15.5 or whatever you're going to see on Johnson's total. So, and it's not like you mentioned it, they're telling you, well, they're not throwing the ball to Henry. And they don't, and Buffalo's not really, is not throwing the ball to Cook and to Davis as much as they would to Johnson. So, those, other than, okay, let's be boring. Let's take let's take Henry to score a touchdown, and let's take the Buffalo quarterback to score a touchdown, on a non-greedy ticket. But I want Johnson's over receiving, and I want Hills over receiving.
And the other thing about Johnson is if you listen to Josh Allen in the post-game interview about a sideline reporter, he said that himself. He said that he's thankful to have Ty Johnson, who he thinks is the best third down running back in the league. And that's quite a statement coming from Josh Allen. But if that's the confidence he has in him, all the more better for that prop to go over, I would say.
So what are they, what are Allen's and Henry's TDs numbers?
Allen is a flat plus 100. Henry is minus 200.
Yeah, I mean, I would have expected both those to be higher. I take both of those, and then figure out a way of weaving the Johnson and Hills receiving and Goddard's receiving numbers in there. I mean, and if you even wanted to throw some of this, Saturday stuff, Saturday spillover onto Sunday, if we're not using Stroud's interception, Eckler's receiving yards, those would be nice. Let's catch a couple of things on Saturday leading into Sunday. Let's get a couple easy ones with Henry and Allen, and then it all comes down to, okay, now all we need is Johnson to catch one more pass for 8 yards, and we cash a nice 5-way ticket. That's I don't like using the obvious angles a lot, especially when you got to lay a big number. But A, you're not laying any number with Allen scoring a touchdown, and secondly, Baltimore is going to run in this game, and if they get the 2 touchdowns in this game, Henry's going to get one of them. So. The price to me should be minus 350. Minus 200, I think, is very reasonable. So I think there's on the Saturday ticket there was a whole lot more that was attractive than on the Sunday ticket. So we have to lower the bar here a little bit and say, okay, we'll take the obvious ones, but let's mix in Goddard's receiving, let's mix in Johnson and Hill's receiving. And if we have to, if we had to connect them with other things from, coming from Saturday, well, then that's just the way it is.
For the sake of the 2 touchdown scorers, I can throw on both Allen and Henry onto this ticket we have with Hurts, Daniels, and Worthy. And let's see, if I invest $20, that's going to cover us in the 3-game parlays, the 4-game parlays, and the 5-game parlays at $2 a bet. And we are averaging out, if we can get 3 of these guys to get into the end zone twice, then the average payout is going to be about $1,800 for 3 of them. 16,000 plus another 7,000, so 23,000 for 4 of them, and then if all 5 somehow do it, $147,000 for the grand jackpot. So that's what we'll do. All right,
that's the way you roll.
Let's see here. The defense on Sunday that would most likely be one to get a touchdown would be the Eagles.
I don't know. The Rams. The Rams don't play giveaway, and even if they fall behind, I don't see them winging it down the field. And they've got a veteran quarterback. I think that probably the most logical team to score defensive touchdown would be Buffalo. And
they've done that in the playoffs before against the Ravens at home.
Yeah, I mean, if they can get ahead in this game and they're at home and things are, here we go again with Baltimore, and now Jackson's running around like crazy and getting sacked and fumbling the ball or throwing the ball, some unwise decision down the field when he doesn't even have the best downfield receiver. I can see him making that kind of mistake, whereas I don't see Stafford making that similar mistake in a similar type of situation against Philadelphia.
All right, Dave. I guess that covers it. Easy enough. 4 games. I don't have to torture you through the whole NFL season.
Yeah, considering that there's only 4 games, I think it's an attractive.
Dependable Solutions can provide all voiceover services for your advanced audio production needs. Think of us as an inexpensive option, no matter what the size of the project is. From one-word cameos to full script productions, contact Dependable Solutions at 757-354-5517.
Know your gambling limits. Don't ever bet what you can't cover. Wagering on sports is only fun when you do it the right way. Not every bet will win. When you get on a bad run, know it and avoid trouble. Know your gambling limits.
Hail to the Redskins, hail victory. Brave on the warpath, fight for all DC. Run or pass and score, we want a lot more. Beat 'em, swamp 'em, touch them, let the points soar. Fight on, till you have won. Sons of Washington, rock, rock, rock. Hail to the
Redskins, hail victory. Braves on the warpath, fight for all DC. Nephew Dave is in the house. We have the Ant-Man in the house as well. A shout out to the old Hail to the Redskins song.
Hail.
Which probably played into the wee hours of the evening. Hail to the Redskins. Hail victory. Braves on the warpath. Fight
for old DC.
$45-31 winners at Ford Field last night, and an exciting. That's getting ready to be the Notre Dame fight song in front of Congress or something. Next queued up video on that list. That's funny. 45-31 Ford Field victory. The Ant-Man is on the phone, but how do I not throw this off to Nephew Dave, our resident commander, Redskin, Washington football team fan from the get-go. As always, Dave, since I've asked you since day one, give me the State of the Union of your Washington Commanders.
Well, Steve, I think short and simple, man, it cannot be any higher than it is now. Now we'll see if that feeling changes next week. How high can this really go? But wow, to get it done in that fashion last night, nobody saw that coming. I thought it was going to be close. I was talking with a couple of buddies of mine. I knew it would be a shootout, but I thought it would be us chasing them in the, score here, score there, score here, with us trying to keep up. It was the complete opposite. And the mantra now, Steve, is why not us? Why can't we be the ones going to the show? State of the Union is through the roof right now. So, wow, what a night. And, Steve, what a way to bring in the second half of this show. I love it. Love the song.
Saw a lot of videos and stuff of people at bars celebrating.
Oh, man.
I gave at the beginning of the program, and Anthony can vouch for this for being in the Pittsburgh area. When he grew up and before satellites, when he had the old school cable box with your limited local channels, and if you wanted to go watch the NFL, you needed to go to like the Redneck Satellite Bar that had the giant TV with like 900 channels and try to find it on there. But well back into the day, that's all we got around here, Dave. We got the Redskins game, the NFC East, back on CBS. Pat Summerall, John Madden, and then they went over to Fox during my college years, which would be, I think, 1991. I remember distinctly watching from the Rugby House couch. Okay, this is the first year on Fox. It's kind of cool they had this little timer graphic because they were the first one to keep the score and the time on the screen during the game. So probably on CBS for a good 10, 11, 12 years of my football viewing, the old NFC East. And you know it as well as I do. I mean, there's just as many Cowboy fans as there are Commander fans around here. Probably a little bit less, but there's a strong nation around here, and that's probably because of the old school Redskins Cowboys games.
Absolutely.
You picked one or the other, right? So,
absolutely.
Nostalgic to see everything that your team has gone through. I even mentioned how earlier how I was at a Patriots game and you guys are down on Daniel Snyder so bad that it was literally a sea of blue and Patriots. There were no Redskin or Commander. Nope. I think at the time the football team fans at that game, it was a barren wasteland of burgundy and gold, and it was just crazy to see in the away team parking lot. That was the case. There's just Patriot domination at the tailgates, and to see everything that you guys have gone through with that owner, finally get him to sell. You start from square one. You seemingly doing everything right at this point, and then you go ahead and draft this kid number 2, which has been miraculous. Is he the best quarterback in the league? I even said it earlier. If you have an NFL MVP award, you don't count that in the regular season, and you keep it throughout the postseason, then how do you not look at Jaden Daniels perhaps as your MVP at the end of the day? If you guys hoist the Lombardi Trophy, and that is something that I can't discount right now happening. You have as good as a team of Eni who can do it. So, well done.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Ant-Man, we watched the game together. Let's talk about the games yesterday real quick. Start with that one with the Lions and the Commanders. As far as crazy NFL football, you've been gambling and doing this for a long time. You like fantasy. You like big numbers. You saw it all last night, right? Go ahead and give me your morning after reaction to everything we witnessed yesterday.
I'll give my own State of the Union address.
There you go.
They weren't even. I mean, weren't they underdogs against Tampa? And they won. They won last Sunday night, I think. And we're like, all right, rookie quarterback, Jaden Daniels, all good, happy hunky dories. They can't beat the number 1 dominating Detroit Lions at home at Ford Field. But look what they did. They demolished them. Absolute domination. Dave, how many times did you walk up to your TV and just saluted?
I was pacing around the living room at halftime thinking, can this actually be done? I look what we're doing. And, oh, man, I tell you what, it was with just me in the living room.
Did you actually think it was possible? They didn't just win the wild card. They're in the NFC Championship. They are going to be one of the last 4 teams in the NFL to possibly win the Super Bowl with the rookie quarterback from LSU.
I mean, it's fantastic, and you just look at the poise. When they first drafted him, I get that he won the Heisman and had a good college career. Sometimes when you play his style, it doesn't always translate. And I was like, all right, well, let's see what the kid has got. At least, we have probably something a little bit better than we had anyway. And just look at what this kid is doing. The cool, calm, the poise of this kid. It's like he just is not rattled by the moment. And I tell you what, he has to be at this moment. Now we'll see what, next season, 2 seasons from now holds. But, if this is the way things continue and he plays at this high level, he's the face of the franchise for the next 10 years. You never let this kid walk out of the room. If this is his style and this is what we're going to get from him for years to come, you just got to do everything you can to keep this guy in burgundy and gold, until maybe he's Aaron Rodgers playing for the Jets status, something like that. But it's just through the roof right now.
Point. Yeah, let's hope we never get to that point. But, one of the biggest things is when Detroit made I think they made the deficit, 31-28. And
Yeah.
Daniels was just sitting on the sidelines, not reading random comic books like A.J. Brown was. He was just sitting there, calm and collect, and look what they did, 38-28 within a minute.
You know, and I said with a couple of my buddies, I said, here's what's going to be the big thing is when they the pick six is really what did it, is you're going to need to get up 2 scores, a field goal and a touchdown, because you know it's going to be back and forth. Let's not chase them. And that's exactly what happened with that pick six. And I think that has a big thing to do with the win as well.
I had to
That
watch.
was unbelievable.
I had the Washington defense on the ticket
Oh, nice.
live for today.
Nice.
How about that?
The only thing I'm upset about with Washington is why couldn't Zane Gonzalez just hit that stupid field goal?
I know, man. I was saying with my buddies, like, we got one job, dude. Come on, man.
What Ann is referencing to you people in the audience, at one point we threw down a $20 bill. We did a little combo bet of Commanders minus 16.5 at 15-1 odds, 17-1 odds, Anthony?
I don't
17-1
want to
odds.
talk about it, but yeah, obviously I don't want to talk about it anymore. But yeah, 17-1.
That's when they were up 3. So we got 17-1 odds to win by 16.5. Just the beauty of being able to live bet the stuff, paying attention, kind of asking yourself in that moment at time, like, man, these guys look good. Is there a scenario where they can run away from Detroit? And the answer was yes, right? So if you believe that, you got paid good. That's why you do all lines, people, is because when you have a team like Detroit, who is favored by 9.5 in this circumstance, 8.5 points, I think, is what it dropped to, maybe by a kickoff. And you flip that around to the underdog winning by 2 scores, which happens in every sport every day, just about, in their manner of fashion of scoring. Obviously, like 3 or 4 baskets is like a touchdown in the NFL point-wise, right? So it's out of the realm of possibility to have asked the Commanders yesterday to go in and win that game by 14 points. No, it wasn't. And if you thought so and believed in it, and we should have discussed it on the air.
Right.
Honestly, because that's what this show does the best. I think we're just got to, for your sake, Dave, hoping they just win,
Yeah.
We're just not thinking about winning by double digits, which we should always ask ourselves these questions about every game, people. I mean, that's part of the lessons of doing this. Yes, they could win by double digits, and if you did that on the pre-flop, then your odds were extraordinary. I venture to say you got at least 20-1. Anyway,
Oh, yeah.
25, yes. If there's 17-1 up 3, then they were every bit of 25-1, 30-1, or something like that to win by 2 scores in Detroit. Okay, so keep all that in mind for everything we're getting ready to do. Who do the Commanders play? And that will be decided today at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time with the Philadelphia Eagles at the Link hosting the Los Angeles Rams. Matthew Stafford and company, Sean McVay, my man, DeMarcus Robinson, Cooper Kupp, like Dave Del Grande says, where have you been? Where have you been, Cooper Kupp? Does he emerge today in these snowy confines of Lincoln Financial Field where Saquon Barkley is staring you eye to eye, looking to run your ass over and into the end zone on his route to 175 yards rushing? Or can Jalen Hurts say, put down the book, AJ. Here's one's coming deep to you down the sideline. Put down that, did you guys see him reading the book?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
That's
Anthony, you saw this, right, on the sideline? He's reading the book of the book. It was called the Book of Inner Excellence. And it's like a belief and self-motivation book. And when he was sitting on the bench, he was reading it at one point during the game last week when he's not getting the ball. So here comes your ball, A.J. Brown. You're fast. Let's put you in a snow race, 5 inches of snow against this Rams cornerback and really see what he has. Or you, Devontae Smith. I know you went to Alabama. I know you probably played backyard football. Maybe you've never seen 5 inches of snow in your life. Who knows? But How about you run deep? And let's try to hit this 55-yard bomb in stride from Jalen Hurts. So where there's snow, there's still offensive plenty on both of these teams today. It's going to be very fascinating to see how this breaks out. I honestly could go either way, I think. I could make a case for the Rams. I can make a case for the Eagles. I can make a case for the over. I can make a case for the under. And I can make a case for the over and what should be an under game and 5 inches of snow, which should be a super under game of like under 20.5 points. But next thing you know, again, Barkley's running down the sideline a couple of different times. All right. There's Tyler Higbee running in open space, 60 yards into the end zone because everyone else has soaked up coverage. But there's Kyron Williams scattering around. Hey, you don't think he played in the cold weather? He played at Notre Dame. People, this isn't some slouch running back off the street. Kyron Williams.
Right.
So you need to mention his name as well today. This is a fascinating game to me. I'll get to the numbers. Anthony, your take on this game overall right now. Who's winning? High scoring, low scoring? If you like your props, go ahead and shout them out. We'll look at the numbers. What do you got?
Well, could you hear my girlfriend in the background laughing at what you just asked?
Yes.
She is watching her little Netflix show right now, and she's having a ball as I am stacking beef jerky as of now. But for this, maybe I should get a drink. But I don't know. I don't know about this game. I mean, it looks like an under game. I mean, it really does look like an under game. I mean, you saw what Philadelphia did against my Packers last week. Like, it's as if they got so bored. That's why A.J. Brown decided to start reading a book. Like, they weren't even playing good, and they were still winning, which is how good of a team this is. I do not expect the Rams to win this game. I expect an under game, and I am going to put a correct score of 20-17 Philly.
Looks like we have some snow in the area. I'm looking at it right now. Snow on the streets at the traffic cameras. So home field probably is a advantage today for these Southern California boys, I guess. Dave, what are your first thoughts about this?
I kind of agree with Ant-Man there. This game is one of those games to me at first glance. I tried to look at some stuff last night. Couldn't really find anything I liked. Mine was in other places anyway. Still looking at this one, I think I would have to agree with Ant. This formula for the Eagles could be the exact same thing for the Packers. Just kind of muddy this one up, get Saquon going. We're chewing clock. Maybe we don't beat the bricks off of them, but we keep the ball most of the time. Two good defenses. The Rams defense playing much better as of late. And then we see what the Philly Eagles defense is. We've seen it most of the season, pretty much since they were 2-2. And we thought, the Eagles actually going to be any good this year? Well, they had something to say about that. And they said, yes, we are. And I think it's the defense leading the way for them. I think you could see a couple turnovers from them today, maybe 2 picks. I would take a serious look at a anytime touchdown from the defense as well. 2 stout defenses here, Steve. Maybe we'll find some stuff when you start looking at the numbers. Touchdown scoring numbers aren't fantastic right now. You got Cooper Kupp. He's at plus 260. I agree with you as well. Where the hell have you been? I don't feel good at all putting a touchdown number on you right now. Maybe that leaves Puka at plus 175. I don't know. The numbers just not fantastic right now. So Steve, I think again, what we saw with the Eagles and the Packers, it could be the same result today.
All right. I'm going to give the Rams a little bit more of a puncher's chance here. because I think at the end of the day, Philadelphia still has a chance to be one-dimensional to me. The second dimension is a little bit of an unproven fact. Hurts can throw the ball, yes, and get some touchdowns. But can he overthrow and throw a pick? Yes, he can.
100%.
So that is going to be huge. Turnovers are going to be big. If you go down the list of weapons for Matthew Stafford, who's an experienced NFL quarterback, right? And a Super Bowl champion, right? Didn't the coach win a Super Bowl as well?
Yes.
So these guys haven't, right? Philadelphia has not with Jalen Hurts and this crew. So to me, the pressure is on Philly a little bit here. And if you do bundle under pressure and get down and find yourself in a sticky situation like the Chiefs were in yesterday against the Texans, I don't know if you're going to be able to climb yourself out of this hole. But a good game nonetheless. Can the Rams win this game by 2 scores? Like the Commanders beat Detroit? And you should. Most people shake their heads yesterday, no, at this question.
Right. No, I mean, kind of a head shake as in, I mean, you saw what happened last night. Why couldn't that happen again today? You're absolutely right, Steve.
All right. So numbers, we all just need to entertain.
Right.
Even if we're putting together $5 tickets here, we can put together something that has a chance to win that we don't even think is going to win. Because you know what? At that point, it's a lottery ticket anyway. And you're going to win this a lot more times often than you will a scratcher. Okay. And that is the expertise of this show. All of us are a little unsure. So let's find the right angles. I'll tell you this right now. If I had $1,000 that I wanted to really bet on this game and I wanted to win $2,370, I would do a simple 2-game parlay. Kyron Williams over 13.5 receive yards and Saquon Barkley over 13.5 receive yards. Both of those guys definitely going to get the ball in space in the snow. That's what you want to do in the snow. You want to be able to spread it out a little bit, get some guys chasing after you. That's when you get the slipping and sliding going on. Better off doing that kind of thing than trying to run it up the gut, trying to get your feet that way and trying to pursue and get through the elements of nature and a big underrated Rams front seven. So I like these running backs to get the ball in space. I think we start there. So receiving yards, Barkley's 13.5, Kyron Williams 13.5. Now on that premise as well, and you got to keep weather a factor here. Who else can get a catch or two to get some of these low hanger numbers? Because that's what trying to get these big numbers is going to be a little sketchier, I think, in the elements. Like a Puka for 81.5. That's tough sledding. Like no pun intended on a snow day, but that is. Trying to ask him to get 82 yards against that secondary, although he's really, really good. We know it. I think you're asking a lot here. So does that open up someone else? My man, Demarcus Robinson, is just 18.5 receiving yards. You don't think they're going to try to find big Demarcus Robinson against the physical secondary at some point? And a couple 20-yard pass patterns because Matthew Stafford can throw the ball? I would say yes. Cooper Kupp at 37.5, I think is a good number to play, honestly. He may be doing the ultimate disappearing act. I get it. But literally, that's 2 catches for him. And if he can find himself in some space, he's got some speed. He can gain those yards. So I would still look at that potentially. My man, Jahan Dotson, touchdown last week. Tickets on the screen as you're floating through this podcast. We'll be making its way on the screen here in a minute. If you don't see it now, you'll see it shortly. My man, Jahan Dotson, who I need 25 yards from, is just 4.5 today. So that's a low number. Higbee's at 28.5. Now, the low hanger guys, it sounded easy yesterday with the Chiefs and the Texans, but guys like Smith-Schuster for 25 yards at 7-1, you never heard his name. All right, so I get it. We all get that can happen, and that can happen with the Jahan Dotson as well. But I think you try to achieve 25 yards on some of these guys. Dotson's plus 490 for 25. Demarcus Robinson is plus 144 for 25 yards, plus 310 for 40 yards. Barkley, mentioned him, plus 240. Is that 25 yards or more receiving? Devontae Smith's an interesting one to me as well, the speedster. For 60 yards by him is plus 138. He's been money all year. I could see him getting 70 yards at plus 210, something like that. So maybe he's the one superstar I would look at for sure. Plus 310 if you want him for 80. If he gets 100 yards, he's plus 680. If you want to have fun with it, I'm not going to stop you. The Rams are not good against tight ends either. So does that open up Dallas Goedert? Plus 110 for 40 yards or more for him. And you think Goddard can have a real good day? He scored last week, 70 yards for him receiving. Is that plus 520? All right, so that's a big number. That's achievable. You just got to ask yourself, can these things happen? And I think the answer is generally yes. Let's look at the rushing numbers. Hurts, 39.5. I'll stay away. He burned me last week. He got 37. Barkley, 111.5. In the snow, Barkley, 111.5.
Right.
Kyron Williams is 76.5. Kenneth Gainwell, 9.5. That's an interesting number. Puka Nacua, 2.5. Stafford, a half a yard at plus 116. I would take a look at that. You don't think there's a quarterback sneak in Matt Stafford at some point today? I think there is.
Yeah, it's not going to take much.
Half a yard is at plus 116 for Stafford. So that's all stuff you can have fun with today. The Stafford, how about this? Let's just build a ticket. Let's do some fun stuff, so see what we get. Stafford, half a yard rushing, and we'll do Barkley and Kyron over 13.5 receiving. All right, let's say one more receiver guy. Let's just see what we can come up with a fun amount. In fact, let's hit 2 receiving guys. Let's just take Dotson for his 4.5 yards. Let's take DeMarcus Robinson for his 17.5 yards now. This is over under. So now we're getting 24-1 odds on Barkley and Kyron over 13.5 yards receiving, Dotson over 4.5, DeMarcus Robinson over 17.5, and Matt Stafford half a yard rushing. $10 wins $239. That's fun. All right, so that's stuff you can come up with. Let's see. What's Barkley's alternate rushing? Let's see what they have him ridiculously up to. 200 yards for Barkley today is 13-1. Now that's interesting.
That is interesting.
107.
Very interesting.
Yeah, you like that,
no,
Anthony?
Very interesting because, like I said, if the weather is going to play a factor in this game, they're going to rely on Barkley. So why not fire it up?
How about this? Everything I just mentioned, because I can replay some of this. The Stafford over a half, Barkley 13.5 receiving, Kyron 13.5 receiving, Dotson 4.5 receiving, DeMarcus Robinson 17.5 receiving, Barkley 200 rushing. $5 pays now $2,381.
That's worth a shot.
I think that's worth a shot.
Absolutely.
And I think you dumb it down as well. Let's let me make sure I'm logged in right here. I'll go ahead and fire this one in. Let me reuse the selections. Go ahead, Anthony.
I was going to say, while you guys are putting everything in, that beef jerky is on.
Oh.
It's ready. It's ready to go. Oh, yeah.
All right.
Hey, how about this? You have 4.5 for Dotson.
Yeah.
I have a measly 2.5 over here. You tell me he can't just catch the ball for 5 yards once.
That's all we need.
Yeah. Barkley, do everything I just said. Dumb down Barkley to 150 yards. Kind of in a reverse popcorn fashion. or an inverse popcorn fashion if we were to do this first and then add on the 200 yards. So dumb it down to 150 yards. Give yourself a little out here. $5 to win 550. All right. So that's some fun we can do there. Here are the passing numbers. Hurts 191.5. Stafford 211.5. You're getting plus money on both guys to throw for 2 touchdown passes. That's a fun bet to me, honestly. In fact, you can do a booster on there, but both guys to throw 2 touchdowns is at a little over 4 to 1. So possible, even in the elements, I think, with these 2 guys. The passing yards alternate for Hurts. You get 10 to 1 for him to throw for 300 yards today. For Stafford for 300 yards is plus 640. Big numbers on these 2 guys. 52 to 1 if you think they both have 300-yard passing games in a snowstorm. Who knows, man?
I think, it's worth the El Cheapo anyway.
It's worth $1 or 2 at least. That's what I'm saying. You just do it just in case. Let's see, $2 pays a measly $103. But that could be your afternoon. You know what I'm saying? That could pay for everything else in the afternoon.
Hell, that's gas money, if anything.
Yeah. There you go, right? Some drinking money.
Yeah, a little beer money. That's the thing, we on the show, we hunt for the big ones, and we do have some success, but I think it's worth noting too, while it's not exactly sexy, don't forget about the little El Cheapos now too.
Stafford for 3+ passing touchdowns is plus 680. Hurts 3 passing touchdowns plus 680. So El Cheapo $5 pays 160. How about that? See, now we're having fun with this game.
Right.
Finding angles for people.
And even if you put like a 5 to win 100, you're still, that bet wins, that's still pretty good odds wise. So just throw some stuff out there.
2 touchdown scores. Well, let's look at the ones first. Because obscure guys score. We know that. Barkley's minus 170. Hurts minus 125. Shoot, man. How do you not take both of those guys, maybe? Each. Let's just plug them in. Barkley, Hurts. Kyron Williams, straight up, even money for 1. Let's throw him in 1. A.J. Brown plus 155. Puka plus 160. Devontae Smith plus 210. Cooper Kupp 3 to 1. Dallas Goedert plus 360. Tyler Higbee 5 to 1. Demarcus Robinson plus 550. Philly defense 6 to 1. Rams defense 10 to 1. Gainwell 10 to 1. Dotson 12 to 1. Parkinson 16 to 1. Cal Contreras 17 to 1. Tutu Atwell is 22 to 1 today for a touchdown. Wow. Jordan Withington 22 to 1. Davis Allen 22 to 1. These are guys who score in games. Tyler Johnson 22 to 1. There's Anthony's guy Ronnie Rivers 23 to 1. Will Shipley 30 to 1. Matthew Stafford 31 to 1. Jenkins 32 to 1. Paris Campbell 33 to 1. Man, it gets deep. You got the Hunter Longs of the world, Xavier Smith, Cody Schrader, all 50 to 1 or better.
All right. Well, actually, see, let me interrupt you. Two questions. Number one,
Yes.
When did Ronnie Rivers ever become my guy?
We bet him on a ticket last week or something.
He's now your guy.
We're like, I need a crappy guy.
Ronnie Rivers is my guy.
Well, I
So
think
now I have no choice but to bet it now. And number two, Paris Campbell played for who?
the Eagles.
I didn't know Paris Campbell was even in the league.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Such a waste of talent. Oh, he was so good at Ohio State too.
Until he scores today at 33 to 1.
Well, Ronnie Rivers and Paris Campbell. There you go.
Oh, man.
Up right now. All right, put five on Rodney Rivers and Paris Campbell.
All right,
what do you get?
We're going to put that in a second. I'm going to plug this ticket in now for the audience and for us if we want to play it. But it's Barkley and Hurts for 1, Kyren for 1, Cup for 1, DeMarcus Robinson for 1. I know I was asking a lot. $3 wins $525. Okay. Ronnie Rivers at 23-1. Now that we're joking about it, we have to do it. Paris Campbell 33-1. And I refilled in my blanks with these other guys, so let me get rid of them. Paris Campbell, Ronnie Rivers. $3 wins $1,544, Anthony. So a $5 bill to win $2,573.
I'm putting 10 on it.
I just bet it for 5. There we go. That's how we have fun on the show, right?
I did it for $250 for $750.
Finding angles you can't find otherwise that can win us a lot of money. Now, might as well go flush out $5 down the toilet on these two. But at least we have skin in the game when it happens, right? How about Cup, guys? Sneak one in today. First touchdown here, 3-1. Okay. Let's dumb this down a little bit. How about Cooper Kupp for 1? How about Jalen Hurts for 2? Since he'll counter for 3. And let's take one more. Let's just take Puka, right? Puka Kupp for 1. Hurts for 2. $5 wins 3. Thoughts?
I like it.
That's a
I just put it in.
That's a Johnny Square play, peg play right there. So that's just, that's the one that you'll have when it's so obvious that it happens, and you don't bet it. You're not going to be pissed off now. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So touchdown scores. Let's get some touchdown madness going. Let's see what we have here. Plus 320 for Barkley. Hurts 5-1. Kyren plus 650. AJ Brown 12-1. Puka Nacua 12-1. Devontae Smith 19-1. Cooper Kupp 31-1. Goddard is very attractive.
I think he's the guy
today. Higbee 65-1. Philly defense 75-1. DeMarcus Robinson 85-1, boys. You got to go back to the well for at least $10 on him.
Yep.
The Rams defense 120-1. The 2-game parlay of Goddard and DeMarcus Robinson. $5 wins $4,317. So we'll lock that in. And let's do a Dallas Goddard and Kyren Williams for 2. How about that? $5 wins $1,085 on that one. That's interesting, right?
Yep.
So Kyren Williams for 2. And that, you know what? Let's do the old Cooper Kupp and Dallas Goddard for 2 as well. $5 wins $3,800. All right, so now we got some stake in the claim there. Any thoughts on 2 touchdown scores, boys? Who do you like?
I just put that in. Actually, I agree with everything you just said.
Yeah. I mean,
it's tricky because of the environment for today. But look, if the weather is going to be the way it is today, then you're obviously going to rely on your running game, your tight ends, and your possession receivers. And what is Cooper Kupp? A possession receiver. What is Dallas Goddard? A possession receiver. I know he's a tight end, but you saw what he did last week. He could get in twice. My only concern is that is it going to be the Kyren and Barkley show, or is it going to be the no show for anyone? I don't know, because like I said, we watched what Philly did last week. They looked terrible. We saw what the Rams looked like last week. They looked unbelievable.
Barkley
Is it going to be Cup or is it going to be Puka? Is it going to be Kyron? Is it going to be Goddard?
I love the Goddard angle, like you said. I mean, look at him last week. He's running people over, throwing stiff arms and just looking pretty dominant out there. So he's definitely worth a look.
Let's see here. Let me get extravagant. Let's just see what the numbers come up with. Okay, Barkley and Kyron Williams for 2 touchdowns each. Barkley for 150, Kyron Williams for 100. $5 wins $800.
All right.
So wait. What did you just plug in?
Both the running backs for 2.
Yep.
And 150 for Barkley, 100 for Williams.
Rushing, not all purpose, right?
Yep, just rushing. Johnny Square Peg, Snow game running back style.
Yeah.
There you go. Right.
I'm gonna dumb it down just a tick. Barkley alternate rushing and receiving. I'm gonna just put him at 70. Kyron alternate rushing and receiving. I'm gonna up that to 70 as well. I mean, got something.
There's profit boost available, and if you do Barkley for 2 and Kyron Williams for 2, and you use your 30% booster, you can go from 29-1 to 38-1, just about. So $10 to win you 380 on just the Barkley and Kyron for 2. I think you got to play that of some sort. Do I want to use a boost on that? I think I might want to get a little more extravagant with that booster. So the good thing about a booster is you can do a couple of different things here, and the one of them is always smarter with your edge of the house. So try to resist what I was just trying to do. Boost from 28 to 38-1. What you want to do is boost much bigger odds, because you get what's the difference there? $80, $90? Or if we do something more extravagant with bigger plus odd numbers, we're talking thousands of dollars of a difference with the profit boost. So save the profit boost if you can for your real kill shots, which would be, your 3 or 4 ticket plus 400 or more, plus 300 or more type of parlay. That's what you'll see your boost add up. I think we do a touchdown score for this game and a touchdown score for the next game, boys. Why don't you guys give me each one? Dave, why don't you give me an Eagle?
All right, Eagle to score?
Yeah.
Give me Goddard. I'm all over that today.
All right, Goddard for 1. Anthony, give me a Ram.
Cup.
Who's that? Cup?
Yeah, give me Cup.
All right, Cup and Goddard on the ticket. Those 2 guys. Hey, man, if you have $100, that bet right now pays $13.33, and that actually would be a decent profit boost. Use a 30%er on that, because you can go from plus $13.33, $100 to win $1,333, to $100 winning $1,732. All right, that's a nice $400 difference if you want to throw down like a $100 bet on something like that. I think I think you have a more than reasonable shot to hit this 13-1 play with Cup and Goddard today. All right, so we all agree, close game with potential to be fun, but you guys like the Eagles, and I'll take the Rams to slip out of things here at the end of the day. And before we move on to this next game, let's just look at the alternate line real quick here. Now, if you think the Eagles can rout them by 20, you'll get minus 18.5. We'll give ourselves an extra point in the snow, a mishap. But if you think the Eagles are 3 big score winners, plus 420 at minus 18.5, And if you do like the Commanders did and put the beat down on the home team here, the Rams minus 12.5 are at 12-1 odds. All right. So maybe somewhere on the ticket, if you're anti-Eagle, take the Rams minus 12.5 and find something in this next game, and we'll get a big parlay payout with that as well. Somehow if the Rams pull a big upset. Okay. So Goddard and Cup. And let's go to this Buffalo game. My thoughts first and foremost, and then we'll get a touchdown score and finish this ticket so we can build some other tickets with these receivers and running back numbers and stuff like that here on the air. This is kind of cool. It's like kind of like art of making the ticket and breaking down these two games, which we have the time for. Usually going through a full slate of games, we just get to our picks and all the odds possible to dissect them. Here we can actually play a few tickets and take our time. Kickoff's still over 4 hours away. Let's see. Bills and Ravens. My thoughts here is give me the Bills. Give me the Bills at home, all things being equal. I'm just going to trust the arm of Josh Allen a little bit more than that of Lamar Jackson at the end of the day. Can the Bills win by 2 scores? Yes. Can the Ravens win by 2 scores? Yes. Can this game go flying over 51.5 points? Yes. Can this game go sailing under 51.5 points? Yes. So a lot like this other game, it's a little tough, but I'm going to give the Bills the edge at the home here. The edge at home here. I think the Flowers injury hurts the Ravens a little bit. It really does. The Bills have a ton of weapons, and what's even more interesting about the Bills, they don't even use them. They use the backups to the weapons. The Curtis Samuels of the world.
Right.
The Dawson Knoxes of the world. Getting the attention over Kincaid, over Coleman. Ty Johnson, where did he come from? Right? So the Bills are ever morphing into a fantastic football team with tons of talent. I just think they get a home atmosphere. I think that plays into it big. Just the energy that stadium is going to produce this afternoon. I bet it's insane right now. The parking lot's insane. If you're listening out there in Buffalo, we would love to hear from you. I'm sure at your tailgate, you're probably upside down on the ice luge or jumping through a table at this point.
Them poor tables.
You're pretty good fans. I don't expect you to be mean to the Raven fans either. Yes, Philadelphia fans, be nice to the Ram fans today. All right, remember you're on video camera in a lot of cases. You don't want to lose your job. Did you see that guy?
Yep.
He called the woman the cunt, and he got fired from his job. Do you know what his job was?
He was
he worked for a diversity and inclusion company.
Yeah, he's sending the message there, ain't he?
And he called the girl a cunt. You can't make that stuff up. So Philadelphia fan, be nice to the Ram fan. Okay, we don't need to fight. Buy him a beer. Tell him nice game when Barkley gets over 200 yards and we just won you a big bet, 30-1 or whatever it is.
I don't think they know how, Steve.
Okay, so Bill fans, I expect you to be fine with the Raven fans. Okay, touchdown scores here. Let's see here. Give me your game pick over under, and we'll get to the touchdown scores. So, Dave, your turn here. Your general thought: who's winning? High scoring game or what?
General thought here is I think we can see something similar to last night with the Skins and the Lions, except that I would expect this to be a little bit closer than that game last night. Can either of these teams win by 2 scores? Yes, I think they can, certainly. Will they? That I'm not so sure of. You see the spread is minus 1.5 for the Ravens, plus 1.5 for the Bills. I have a thought that should be kind of flip-flopped a little bit. I think the Bills, they're at home. They have that atmosphere. But that Ravens defense has done a complete 180 from what we saw in the beginning of the season where, we were roasting them, getting all kinds of props checked off in our tickets, playing against them, higher scoring games, but they have kind of shut things down on the defense, and it has morphed into one of the better ones in the league. So I think they're going to have a say in this game, Steve. And I'm gonna take the Ravens on a slight edge here, just ever so slightly. I mean, it could be literally a point or two at the end of the game. I think this is a really great game we're in store for, and I think we go a couple points over as well.
Ant-Man?
There's such thing as Superman, and that's what Josh Allen is. The Bills will take care of business. They will beat the Ravens. I don't believe by double digits. Lamar, Henry, and company will make a fight, but losing Zay Flowers will be a huge hit. But I think the Bills are actually – it sucks because I hate the Chiefs so much, but I think Buffalo has the best chance, and in a weird way, even without Stephon Diggs, this is the best team they've ever had. And by the way, Von Miller plays for them too. Remember that? Remember that guy?
Yep.
The MVP for the Broncos from Peyton Manning. I know he's older, but I just feel like this could be the Bills' year. They're going to take care of business today because the number one thing is who's going to beat Kansas City and all those terrible calls that Texas got. Josh Allen is not C.J. Stroud. I think he's going to put the cape on a little bit today. I think they're going to rely on their running game. But I'm looking at some of these numbers. Why is Amari Cooper's numbers so damn low?
Well, that could be in our favor.
Oh, yeah, no. Sorry, I'm looking at honestly, I'm looking at the Von Miller sack. They'll let you parlay the sack with the touchdown score. How about that? We'll get into that in a minute with the touchdown scores and the sack. I agree with you 100%. Amari Cooper at 22.5 is a slap in the face to him. It's a slap in the face to Josh Allen, to be honest. I think they exploit that today. I think he gets over that.
I mean, obviously that's what makes a great quarterback a great quarterback. The fact that you don't have to rely on your number one. So, but yeah, I'm scratching my head.
Well, you have so many guys you have to cover. Shakir and Coleman are such speed guys that they require so much attention. Obviously, Cooper probably soaked up those double coverages at first. I'm hard to think that he's still soaking up double coverage compared to some of these other guys. And then you got the tight ends running around free. And then you got, the Mac Hollinses of the world and the Curtis Samuels of the world trickling around the field too. It makes it tricky to the point where these low numbers, man, that's 3 catches for Amari Cooper to get the 60 yards at plus 590. You know? That's not out of the realm of possibility.
No, not at all.
So you need to play that kind of thing. We'll look at that in a second. Okay, so Bills for Anthony, Ravens for Dave. I'm going to go with Buffalo in this game myself. Anthony said it. Josh Allen is Superman. Fantastic matchup. Can't wait for this. So good TV here this evening. Bills and the Ravens. All right, the touchdown scores. -200 for Henry. Cook -105. Allen even money. Mark Andrews +170. Bateman +185. Lamar Jackson +195. Shakir 2-1. Coleman +280. Likely +290. Kincaid 3-1. Justice Hill +410. Ray Davis +490. Ty Johnson +490. Mac Hollins +490. Tylan Wallace +550. Amari Cooper +550. Dawson Knox 6-1. 31-1 for the first touchdown, which is Anthony's favorite bet. 6-1 for the defense. For Buffalo, Curtis Samuel plus 650 scored last week. You got to remember, Joe Brady was his coach at Carolina too, the offensive coordinator for the Bills. So he loves some Curtis Samuels. You got to remember that kind of stuff. Nelson Aguilar, 7-1. Quentin Morris, 16-1. Jalen Virgil, 16-1. Charlie Kolar, 28-1. My man, Patrick Ricard, 29-1. I'm going to have to autoplay him by himself today. Anthony Miller, 29-1. Keaton Mitchell, 30-1. He's burned me earlier in the playoffs. Rasheen Ali, 30-1. Devontae Walker, 30-1. Steven Sims, 31-1. Reggie Gilliam, 32-1. All right. Those are your touchdown scores. Dave, go ahead and give me a Raven on your side.
Give me Mark Andrews.
Plus 170 for Mark Andrews.
Love that.
You add him to Cooper Kupp and Dallas Goedert, and we're now almost 40-1. All right, Anthony, give me a Buffalo Bill.
I'm not saying Dawson Knox because I'm just going to be heartbroken when he doesn't score. Give me Mac Hollins.
Mac Hollins is going to blow this ticket up. I'm honestly going to have to play this with someone else besides Mac Hollins because I like it so much. But, all right, this is our on-the-air ticket, guys. Mark Andrews, Mac Hollins, Dallas Goedert, and Cooper Kupp. $10 wins $1,786.
Oh, love that.
All right, so hopefully you're tagging along on your own. That's Kupp, Goddard, Hollins, and Andrews. Now up to $18.31 on the payout. All right, boys, if this hits, I have a little tip for you boys at the end of the day for your help here. And now let's add on a couple of randoms for this game because if we think we can get points, there'll be touchdowns, right? So I like Ty Johnson plus 480 today for a touchdown again. Why not, right? He's been a hot hand here, getting touchdowns the last couple of weeks. We think Ray Davis got hurt last week. I see his name listed. I'm not going to trust he plays a lot.
No.
So Ty Johnson plus 490 for me on a ticket. Let's slide on down and take favorite of the show, Isaiah Likely, plus 290. All right, we'll throw him on a ticket. Let's go ahead and take my man, Khalil Shakir. This is like an ode to our favorite players type of ticket. Khalil Shakir have been fantastic for me last season, and then great for me in fantasy. He's had a really good year for the most part. Quiet in some games, but he seems to be the one consistent guy who emerges. So we'll take Shakir, Likely, Ty Johnson, and let's go ahead and throw on Bateman. Bateman's Bateman's been good to the show, as well as. Should we throw Mark Andrews on here too? He's been good to the show as well.
Why not?
So we have Mark Andrews, Bateman, Likely, Shakir, Ty Johnson, and I'll throw Josh Allen on there as well. He's been great for the show. So 3 touchdowns on each side. Probably no way this hits, but $5 wins $2,573.
Well, Steve, you may be surprised because I saw via social media somebody out there somewhere put this ridiculous touchdown score for the Skins and Lions game.
It hit it all.
And he had like 6 or 7 guys, and he got it by halftime. That's how that game was a shootout.
Wow.
So you never know. Something like that could happen.
Yeah, I want to see that. A simple $2 wins $1,000 on that play as well. So how about that?
Yeah, I'll try and find that ticket off the air for you.
I'll put the magic $4.20 play.
There you go.
To win $165.82. Okay, let's do the long obscure odds, guys. Anthony, give me the Ronnie Rivers of this game.
Hold on. just trying to. There was a slip up in the jerky machine. All right. What did you say about Ronnie Rivers?
Give me your long shot touchdown score for this. Let's put two of them together.
Gilliam.
Reggie Gilliam, 32-1. And
Yep.
Patrick Ricard, 28-1.
Yep. That's exactly where I was looking, Steve.
$2.50 wins $1,286.
That's the worst bet I've ever heard. Sign me up.
Let's do a round robin of Ricard, Gilliam, and then let's go back to the Philly game. And we're going to take Paris Campbell
Ugh.
and
so bad.
and Ronnie
This is so bad.
and Ronnie Rivers. So the round robin of Patrick Ricard, Gilliam, Ronnie Rivers, Paris Campbell, that gives us 4 different 2-game parlays. Let's just put $1 on each leg. All right, the average payout will be about $300, close to it, if we get a combo of each game of one of the guys. So Ronnie Rivers and Ricard hits, or Campbell and Gilliam, or something of that nature. There's no way they'll pay out the 4, will they? Yeah, they will. All right, 25 cents for all 4 of these guys to get 1 touchdown pays $57,000.
That would be a good
All right,
Sunday.
this total wager of $4.25 to win a potential $58,412.89. How about that?
I just put 600, or 600. I just put $3 to win 700. Why not?
Lay it down and smack 'em, yak 'em.
All right, the passing yards Hurts 191.5. Oh, I'm sorry, wrong game. Back to the Bills game because we're just getting started here, folks. We'll get back to 2 touchdown scores. Let's take a break from the touchdowns for a second. Josh Allen 239.5. Lamar 212.5 passing yards. Both of these guys are about a coin flip. Small juice for over 1.5 touchdown passes. Josh Allen for 300 yards is at plus 320. Lamar Jackson for 300 yards is at plus 630. The passing touchdowns. Josh Allen for 3 is at plus 340. Lamar Jackson for 3 is at plus 330. All right, so I'm going to plug in the 300 yards each by Lamar and Allen. Again, I'm going to rewind and go back to this Rams-Eagles game. This is the last time I'll do this with for the sake of ending the program and the other props involved here, as this will be the last time I go back to this Eagles-Rams game. But let's just take all these guys for 300 passing. Since we do have big numbers on the Rams, guys, let's go ahead and do another round robin. Well, $1 pays $853 if every guy has 300 yards passing in today's game. $2 wins $1,700. So we'll do that. And then we have 4 different 2-game parlays. We'll put $2 on each of those. Figure you win $100 if you get a 300-yard passer in both games somehow. All right, so there you go. That's fun for the afternoon. Let's see here. Receiving yards. The low hangers. What do we have? All right, starting at the bottom of the list. Aguilar, over-under is 12.5. Tylan Wallace, 17.5. My man Curtis Samuel, 13.5. Dawson Knox, 15.5. Likely 37.5. Bateman 45.5. Justice Hill 22.5. James Cook 13.5. Matt Collins 14.5. Henry 7.5. I like that. Amari Cooper 22.5. Dalton Kincaid 33.5. Coleman 25.5. Mark Andrews 42.5. Shakir 50.5. I think everybody's live. I would look at the low numbers. Do you have a number on 25 for Henry, Dave?
Yes, I should. Let me
see if you got an alternate number for that. Mac Hollins plus 440 for 40 yards. So I think you add him onto a ticket like that. Justice Hill is plus 110 for 25 yards. I think you throw him on a ticket. Bateman is plus 110 for 50 yards. Let's throw him on there. Likely is plus 176 for 50 yards. We'll throw him on there. Amari Cooper plus 370 for 50 yards. We'll throw him on there. And now this ticket of Mac Hollins for 40, Justice Hill 25, Bateman for 50, Likely for 50, Amari Cooper for 50. $10 wins $2,500 and $7.
Henry for 25 is at plus 340.
I could use a profit boost on this. I will. All right, I'll take this payout from $2,500 to $3,200 on this ticket on $10. All right, so that's a $700 difference of a profit boost on a 30%er. I notice I still have a 50%er I can use. I'm sorry, Dave. What do you got for Henry?
Plus 340 at 25.
Okay. Anthony, who are your receivers? Who are you going to bang on this game? Keon Coleman, 25.5 seems low to me too. I know he did nothing last week. What do we got here? Give me some numbers.
I'm really interested actually in this whole Mac Hollins thing. Let's take a peek, shall we?
Mac Hollins for 60 yards is 12-1.
Well, let's see what he's done all year. Let's see what his highest receiving total has been all year. Stand by.
60 for
Mac Hollins.
Cooper plus 590.
Mac Hollins has eclipsed 60 yards once.
Okay, so you're getting paid to do so too.
However, he's also been engaged recently. Last 3 games, at least in the regular season, 25, 33, 25. So maybe you want to just, tone it down and just do 25?
25 at plus 194. Let's get some 25 yarders on here.
All right, hold on. Yeah, let's all right. So Hollins at plus 194. I'm gonna do Justice Hill at plus 110.
Yep, throw him on there.
All right. Dawson Knox, no, I can't. No. Curtis Samuel, 25. You bet your ass I'm going to throw that in there. Aguilar for 2 plus 235. So right now, the bet that I just made was Mac, Justice, Curtis, and Aguilar. 10 pays. $591.
Yep, $591. That's not too bad.
Mm-mm.
I'll take that. I'll take an easy peasy squeezy.
I'm playing it. Played. Rushing props. We can go back and have some more fun with that. I'm going to have to fire a decent size. I got a 50% boost I need to figure out what I want to do with here. Derrick Henry, 96.5 yards. Cook, 54.5. Lamar Jackson, 55.5. Josh Allen, 47.5. Justice Hill, 9.5. What if it is the Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley show today? I lied. We're going to go back one more time in time here. Henry for 175 is at plus 1120. Barkley for 175, because I wanted to play that number anyway. So let's play them both at 175. That cuts us the break from 200. But Henry and Barkley for 175 each. 5 wins 500. All right. How about that? Fired away. Is this a Derrick Henry day, boys?
I think it certainly could be.
It could be. I'm really not, because if it's a Derrick Henry game, that means Baltimore's going to do good. But it's very possible.
What's Josh Allen's ceiling for rushing yards, Anthony?
Oh,
And you can tell me Lamar's if you like as well.
well, like I said earlier, if Allen's going to be putting on the cape, his baseline is at 47.5. Lamar's at 55.5. Can they both get over 80 as score?
You know what? If you want to have a simple, if you're out there listening or watching, and you want a Johnny Square peg 2-1, let me sit back and have fun and watch this game play. Then go ahead and put your $50 to win 100 on Allen for 50 and Lamar for 50, and just double your money.
That's not a bad angle there. Not at all.
Without getting greedy. That's easy enough to root for. And pray whoever's downing the ball at the end has 57 yards.
Yeah, no kidding.
When that happens. And doesn't Patrick Mahomes you to death? -4 yards. Come on, Patrick Mahomes. The people who bet on you rushing, you're killing them when you do that. He literally walks back 4 yards before he downs it. He needs to stop that. I know you're listening, Patrick. Stop.
Knock it off.
Yeah, you get him. That was the boos from the home crowd when they took an intentional safety not to cover 9.5 points. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh, my goodness.
Justice Hill rushing yards. Let's see what we have for him. Plus 440 for 25 yards. We played that before, right? I think we got to throw that into something.
Yep.
So I'm going to cue that up. And then let's go back to the 2 touchdown scores. I'll come back to Justice Hill. Actually, let's do the Justice Hill rushing 25. Let's just get him off the plate here because we got to mess around with some 2 touchdown scores here. Let's go back to the receiving props. This is where we'll throw Henry in for his receiving yards straight up, which is at 7.5 yards is what I see, -105. So Justice Hill 25 rushing, Henry 7.5 receiving, kind of flipping the script right there. That pays 9-1. How about that? Let's add on. Let's do the Coleman play. That's where we get Coleman. 40 yards. We're not asking a lot here. Plus 176. In fact, let's just take him for 50. Plus 280. And we'll find one more 50-yarder guy. And we'll take Likely. Plus 176. So, Justice Hill for 25 rushing. Henry 7.5 receiving. Keon Coleman 50 receiving. Likely 50 receiving. Can we dumb down another bill for 25 to make it even here? I think we can.
Samuel?
Let's take Dawson Knox.
Oh, God.
This ticket pays out. You know what? This might be my 50% booster. $10 wins $2,100. Now $10 wins $3,250. And I'll do a little bit more. I'll do $1,305 to win $4,244. This can't happen. Justice Hill, 25 rushing yards. Derrick Henry, 7.5 receiving yards. Coleman, 50 yards receiving. Likely 50 yards receiving. Dawson Knox, 25 yards receiving. 1305 wins $4,244 on a 50% profit boost. Fired. All right, so that's some fun we can have. 2 touchdown scores for this game. Henry plus 270, Cook plus 650, Allen plus 650, Mark Andrews 13-1, Bateman 15-1, Lamar Jackson 17-1, Khalil Shakir 17-1, Keon Coleman 26-1, Likely 29-1, Kincaid 32-1, Justice Hill 46-1, Ray Davis 50-1, Ty Johnson 50-1, Mac Hollins 60-1, Baltimore defense 65-1, Buffalo defense 70-1, Amari Cooper 75-1, Tylan Wallace 75-1, Dawson Knox 85-1, Curtis Samuel 95-1, Nelson Aguilar 110-1. All right, Dave, give me a Raven for 2.
Raven for 2. Let's go with Rashad Bateman.
Anthony, give me a Bill for 2.
You said a Bill?
Yep.
I mean, Josh Allen.
Love that. Yep.
Bateman and Josh Allen. $5 pays a modest $433. Okay, let's flip the script. Dave, give me a Bill.
All right, I will give you. Let's go with Shakir.
17-1. Anthony, give me a Raven.
For what?
Give me a Raven for 2.
Sorry, I was emptying out the trash. A Raven for 2. Dave, which Raven did you say?
I took Bateman.
Look, if this is going to be a playoff game, you saw what the Ravens did against Kansas City week 1. I'm at a coin flip between Mark Andrews or Likely. But in a weird way, why do I see Likely doing it? Make up for what he did. Make up for that half foot out of bounds. So I'm going to go with Likely for 2.
All right, Shakir and Likely pay out. $5 wins $1,362. All right, so hopefully everyone's playing along. And I'll go ahead and give you 2. How about Ty Johnson, 55-1? Let's throw him on there. Ty Johnson, 55-1. And Mark Andrews, 13-1. How about that, boys?
I like that. Yeah.
$5 wins $2,800. $2,799.86 to be exact, off of $5. Bam, that's in. Let's see here. We'd be hard pressed not to try to do this. Josh Allen for 3 touchdowns, 35-1. As we go down Anthony's kitchen sink drain, is what it sounds like.
Can you guys hear it?
Yes. Loud and clear. We have loud and clear. Whatever's happening in the studio of the Ant-Man has been pure entertainment for our listening audience.
I was going to say, can you hear NASA right now in the background?
Yeah.
Hey, remember, when you do jerky, it takes time. It takes a lot of presence. You got to do a little work to it.
Got to put some loving on it, Ant.
You gotta flip your meat every so often. You gotta give it the business. Gotta give it the business.
Give it the business.
All right. We're dwindling funds in the account here on the free roll for today. So we'll take this a little lightly. $3.50 to win $1,886. 3 touchdowns by Josh Allen. 3 touchdowns by Saquon Barkley. How about that?
Interesting.
What does that pay?
$3. It pays $1,400 or something like that. $5 will get you about $2,000.
I think I will play that.
We like to do the overtime bets. Can both of these games go into overtime? You got to ask yourself. I say yes.
Absolutely. Certainly the night game.
So 16-1 for the Eagles and the Rams. I'm going to have to consult my different bank accounts, Venmo style here.
Get ready.
When we get off the air. Rams and the Eagles, 16-1 for overtime. And then the Bills game to get to overtime, 13-1. $4.20 wins $995. Bam, played.
Like it.
That's $1,000 into the account when that happens. All right, and then let's go ahead and do a first touchdown score. There's got to be Dawson Knox, right, Anthony? It's got to be.
You know, I've already done that like twice, right?
Let's see if we can get it. Let's see if we get him live after the first game. First touchdown score. Good long shot here. I'm going to give you. Well, let's just do Dallas Goedert. How about that?
Goddard and Knox.
$2.30 pays $1,250 on Dawson Knox and Dallas Goedert for the first touchdown today. All right, boys, we covered all the angles. Dave, you like the Eagle? You like the Eagles. Anthony likes the Eagles. I like the Rams. Lower scoring games probably for you guys. I could see it being slightly over in the snow. Me and Anthony will take the Bills. Dave will take the Ravens. Del Grande has the Bills. And he has the Eagles. Lower scoring game, higher scoring game. Lower scoring game for the Eagles. Higher scoring game, Ravens. I'll say this is a higher scoring game. But if you're doing a big parlay out there, don't take over 51.5 points. Do whatever you're going to do in the Eagle game. And instead of taking over 51.5 points, I want you to dumb it down. Make it so it's over 46.5 points or something like that. All right? Give yourself that extra out at the end of the game to get a winning ticket. The difference between winning and losing when everybody else has the over and they lose because it comes a field goal shy or something. You'll still be in the clubhouse celebrating, drinking your Sky vodka at 10 o'clock at night, looking for an NBA game to bet on. All right, boys, that covers it.
All right.
2 touchdowns. Let's do the, just for the sake of it, we'll do our 2 touchdown sounder. Can we talk about 2 touchdowns any more than we possibly do on our show? Yes, we can is the answer. We'll do that now. Maybe consider this your life or death play. If you had to go to war with these guys, who would it be?
4 weeks. 20 papers, that's $2 plus tip.
Gee, Johnny, I don't have a dime. Sorry.
Didn't ask for a dime. $2.
Hey, give me 2 and a half and a Ric Flair.
It's a jungle out there. You got to look out for number 1, but don't step at number 2.
Utah, give me 2.
Before Steve, before we dive into this little 2 touchdown parlay crap, I'm going to throw a random trinket on this Eagles game for you. We're all betting Dallas Goedert to score first, right?
Yep.
What happens if he throws it to the fake Dallas Goedert? Grant
Calcaterra.
Or Calcaterra, yeah, whatever. I can't figure it out. I always pronounce it wrong.
We must always be prepared for the twists and turns. Yep.
I just put $10 because he's 95-1. Just something to look at.
You know, an interesting ticket would be as well, parlay him for an anytime. And you can do this once the game gets going after he does it. Say he doesn't score the first one, right?
Which he won't, but like I said, he won't. But, it's an insurance policy.
Yeah. So to keep staking the action, bet him anytime at a much bigger number than pre-flop. You'll get, and then parlaying with Kincaid, since we're discounting him a little bit in my mind. Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
No. Let's counteract both of our stupid bets.
Yep. And maybe you do that for the first touchdown anyway. Parlay, right?
Go for it. But like I said, I just took them straight up, 95-1. I threw 10 on it, and I'm content with it.
All right, I like it.
The only twos that I have in every single game today, or I guess for every single team, we really didn't talk about AJ Brown that much, did we?
No, not at all. Just about him reading his book. So, a little bit at the beginning.
I know.
I talk about it. He'll run down the field and catch one.
Yeah, and I know he's reading all these books and literature and all that other crap, but why not? What if he goes off? I know. Weather, all that crap. Blah, 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 blah. Guess what? I think Philly's here to prove a point that, they're ready to rock and roll against Washington. And it all starts with momentum, and it's going to start today. So I want to start with A.J. Brown. I am not sure how this Rams team is going to face off today. Obviously they hauled ass last Monday night against the Vikings, but let's keep it with the good running back. Plus, his alma mater is playing tomorrow night, Kyron Williams. So, A.J. Brown, Kyron, and then as far as Buffalo's concerned, I love my Josh, and I'm hesitant on this, but I threw Mark Andrews into this. $10 pays $43,000.
For all four of those guys?
Kyron, A.J. Brown, Mark Andrews, and Josh.
Mark Andrews and A.J. Brown by themselves, I'm looking at on my screen, $5 wins 905. So I'll be taking a look at that as well. I'll probably add your guys in the round robin, Anthony. I like that. That's interesting. So A.J. Brown, Mark Andrews, Josh Allen, and who's the other one?
Kyron
Williams. Interesting. Okay. If I have to go to war with any two guys, give me Allen and Hurts for 2 touchdowns each. I played that. So that's a nice primary ticket, Allen and Hurts. If you want a nice long shot one, take my man Demarcus Robinson for the Rams, and take likely Demarcus Robinson ticket's awfully nice. I'll tell you that right now. That would be a good long shot payout right there.
Yeah, yep.
Likely in DeMarcus Robinson. So do that and you'll be rich. Dave, your 2 touchdown scores.
All right, 2 touchdowns. If we're going to war with these guys, I'm going to go with Kyron Williams as well. And then I also will go with Josh Allen. I'm kind of in agreement there with the Ant-Man. My longer shots for a little bit more of a fun one would be Dallas Goedert and Rashad Bateman.
All right. Remember, and I didn't remember, I forgot. But we can do the sacks too. I like Von Miller for a sack plus 188. Yep. Add him into some things to make life interesting today at plus 188. Here you go. Just for an example. Mark Andrews for 2, A.J. Brown for 2, and Von Miller for a sack. How crazy is this? That pays $5 wins $2,000 on that. Mark Andrews for 2, A.J. Brown for 2, and Von Miller for a sack. Can you imagine just wanting the sack? Get Lamar. As he's right. All right, final call on props, boys.
Let me ask you guys this real quick. We can get into it more off the air. Who you think scores the longest touchdown of the day? I need a king of the end zone candidates.
A lot of people out there are probably playing that, actually. Longest touchdown today. Give me Coleman.
All right.
Anthony?
So you said Coleman. I was actually thinking Shakir.
Devontae Smith comes to mind, to be honest.
I was thinking Devonta Smith, actually. Now, Dave, is this like what's it actually say on the DraftKings app? Like longest receiving touchdown or like longest?
Just longest touchdown in general. I ended up hitting it again. I had McLaurin, Zacchaeus, and Jamison Williams in a same game parlay. McLaurin goes for 58, and I'm like, all right, this is money. I got this promo again. And then here comes Jamison Williams for 61. I'm like, okay, I definitely have the promo. Wake up. We've got a nice free bet, so we've hit the promo again. It could be a pass and it could be a run. Just has to be the longest touchdown of the day.
Well, as I've been doing extensive research, I think Matthew Stafford's got the biggest chance of doing that.
Dude, could you? Oh my goodness, the share of $2 million you would get out of that.
Watch him get a 70-yard touchdown skipper.
I looked at the stats the other day for last week's when Curtis Samuel got the longest touchdown of the day, and the share of $2 million in free bets. These guys, obviously, not many picked them. They woke up with like $1,300 in a free bet because of Curtis Samuel going for 55 or whatever it was.
So if I'm going to go off brand on this one, I'm going to go with Tylan Wallace.
That would get you a nice big free bet if he does it.
Interesting.
That is your long shot of your of your receiving yards, because he has eclipsed 115 yards, although once, but like we always talk about,
that's more than enough.
One play.
Tylan Wallace for 50 yards is plus 570 today for 50 yards.
And if he gets the big one, why not throw 80, 90?
This one's going to be ridiculous. But I think I can get you guys to buy in at the end of the day. This is going to take a lot to happen. Last call on props here. I'll just throw this out there. Let me plug in these guys real quick. Okay, 9-game parlay. Ready? DeMarcus Robinson over 17.5 receiving yards. Kyron Williams over 13.5. Jahan Dotson over 4.5. Tylan Wallace over 17.5. Derrick Henry over 7.5. Mac Hollins over 14.5. Curtis Samuel over 13.5. Nelson Aguilar over 12.5. And a Von Miller sack. $5 wins $2,000.
I love that. That's just all baseline. I mean, they can do that. Love it.
All right. Fun stuff, guys. So we know our picks. Dave, again, real quick, you are Eagles, Ravens.
Eagles, Ravens.
And your lower scoring game than higher scoring game?
Yes, in the Eagles game. Lower and high.
Okay. Anthony, you are Eagles lower scoring game and Bills higher scoring game? Right?
2017 Eagles and 27-20 Buffalo.
Yes, throw your correct score parlays out there, people.
Yeah.
Today. This is your day to do that. I'm going to take the Bills 34-24. And I'm going to take the Rams 26-23 in overtime.
Ooh, all right.
How about that?
I like it.
I
like it.
I think that does it. hopefully you've watched some tickets. You've had a good morning. I've seen we have a lot of viewers. I'll flip a couple more tickets as we get on out of here. If you're in Dallas, Texas tonight, go see the Pie Tasters. They are at Granada Coffee, I believe is the name of it. Let me look them up real quick. The Pie Tasters, of course. Oh, our man Coach chimed in. Listener question real quick. Let's get you guys to answer this, actually. Well, we talked about it. Are we taking any rushing bets with Jackson and Allen? Oh, yes, of course we are. What kind of question is that, Coach?
You know we are, Coach.
Coach, if you're listening, I'll text you some stuff here in a bit. The Pie Tasters are at Dallas, Texas tonight. They are at, let's see here. They were in Austin last night. They were in San Antonio the night before. And they are at the, let's see here. Of course, I can't find their schedule. I keep wanting to go to the video. Coffee Granada, something like that. You can find them. Look them up on social media, the Pie Tasters, if you're in Dallas, Texas, so you'll track them down this evening. All right, boys, any final words? We got to find some soccer or college basketball to bet on here.
We do have a hockey game, too.
We have some hockey. You got a pick for that, Dave? First game?
Let's see what it is. It's at 1 p.m., I believe. Yes, it's the Senators and the Devils. Give me the Senators in this one. The Devils, they look like they're sliding a bit, Steve.
Can we do something fun and take Ottawa on a super alt line since we have nothing else better to do here?
You want to go like 2.5?
Yeah, let's see what's the payout here.
Taking off. You need a shower. You have like sauce on your face. Yeah, that's going on.
Can you guys hear this? I'm getting lectured right now.
Yes, we can.
I love you too, Dave.
Take a shower.
I'll go take a shower.
Take a shower, Aunt.
Clean man when I get home.
My girlfriend wants a clean man when she comes home, so
understandable.
I might be having.
Tell her that dirty tanning booth is as dirty as anything out there, Germany-wise.
Hey, my girlfriend Megan does not understand that, beef jerky just doesn't grow off trees. Fall off trees, whatever.
Boys, if we want to do a little popcorn parlay, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we have the Senators minus 2.5 at plus 680.
Oh, love it.
Minus 3.5 at 15-1. And the win by 5 goals, 40-1 odds.
Absolute fade of the Devils in the studio this morning.
All right, so there you go. There's your hockey ticket you can watch before this NFL game starts. I'm going to have to do some Venmo transactions while I have this ticket up here on the screen. All right, guys, we'll wrap it up. Thanks for a fun divisional playoff weekend. After this, we'll have 3 more games left.
That's it.
And the round robin season 3 will be coming to a close. Jahan Dotson, be my hero for 25 yards, please. That's all we need for a win today. Keon Coleman, top that guy with 70. And yes, we will be drinking vodka at 10 o'clock at night, looking for the NBA game to bet on if that happens.
Because we are off on Monday, Martin Luther King Day. Here we go. Let's go, Josh. Let's beat the Chiefs next weekend, and let's get through Lamar Jackson today.
Excellent close.
Love it.
All right, good luck, everybody. What the Buck is Going On, airing every Monday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, here on the Deep End Broadcasting Network. Get our YouTube channel, subscribe, Deep End broadcasting.